What's up guys, Dana Lynn Bailey here, also known as the Pumpkin Queen. So today I am going to share with you 3 secrets to getting bigger delts. So make sure you watch to the end so you can grow some pumpkins like these. Alright, so your shoulder is made up of 3 heads. You have your anterior, which is your front, you have your medial, which is your lateral or middle head, and then you have your posterior, which is your rear. So out of the 3, if you had to choose which one is your strongest, it's probably your front delt. So tip number 1 is train your rear delts first. You actually don't have to start every shoulder workout with a press. I know like compound movements are great to start at the beginning, but guess what? Our rear deltoid is usually the most neglected. If you look at anybody that lifts, generally their anterior, their front delt is more pronounced than any other head. That's the one you see when you're training. So you're more likely to train that one first. You also train it so much on chest day. So if you have a really heavy chest day, you bench a lot, you most likely don't need to focus on that front head as much when you finally get to shoulder day. So on shoulder day, I like to think of, okay, what do I need to work on the most? And I put that first, where I have the most energy. I need to work on my rear delt because my front delts definitely overpower everything else. So I need to focus on the rear delt first when I have the most energy, and that's what we're gonna do. We'll go to a different body part, calves. People that have like struggling calves. When do you throw those calves in your training program? Probably last. That's why your calves suck, because you're doing them last. If calves are very important to you and growing your calves are very important, you put those things first. Put them at the beginning when you have the most energy. So that's what we're gonna do with our shoulders. Focus on the one that needs the most energy and put it first. I'm also going to show you, I know this is just 3 tips, but these tips, there's tips within inside the tips. So I'm giving you extra tips. I'm gonna give you my favorite rear delt exercise, which is the face pull. Now the face pull is something that honestly most people do wrong, and honestly I did it very wrong. Not that it was wrong, you're just not getting the most benefit out of the exercise. Now typically when you see someone doing a face pull, they grab the rope and you just pull towards your face, right? Face pull. Now, not that that exercise is wrong. There's nothing wrong with that exercise, but if you want to get the most out of your rear delts, we're gonna add a little technique, and it's just gonna add a little variance. Pretend I'm at the rope, I'm facing you, I have the rope. When you come back, instead of just bringing your elbows out wide and pulling straight back to your face, your hands are gonna come up, your elbows are gonna drop, and your thumbs are going to point behind you. So now you're basically in a front double bi or back double bi. That's exactly how I want you to do your face pull. By doing this, you're just adding just a little bit more tension on that rear delt. I'm gonna do one arm this way, and this is with no weight. And you'll be able to see the difference. You can see a better contraction on this side versus this side. We got here or here. Can you see the difference? I can't because I can't see behind me, but I can feel the difference. I'm feeling it a lot more in my rear delt. Now I'm even gonna show you a different way to do it so you know that you are doing it correctly. So instead of doing it standing up, we're gonna lay on the ground, like so. Now, as we do this, you're gonna do the same way. You're gonna pull towards you, but to make sure that you're doing it right, your thumbs are gonna hit the floor. Not that this is wrong, But if you pull back and your elbows hit the floor and your thumbs are up here by your face, not that it's wrong, I'm just saying you're gonna get a better contraction out of your face pull. So into your rear, your back double bi or your front double bi, thumbs hit the ground. All right, tip number 2, add in partial reps. Utilize partial reps. Partial reps add a stress overload, it adds time under tension. And I know most people are like, no, full range is you should always do full range of motion. Yes, for most of your workout, you should be doing full range of motion. But to add in some other side things, you need to change it up once in a while. And a great technique to add into your workout is utilizing partial reps. So I'm going to show you just doing a lateral raise. I'm going to use a band, and I will also show you with a dumbbell. So I love bands. No matter what, it's like constant tension. But with partial reps, that's the whole point, is it's constant tension. If you have a dumbbell, there, and I do my lateral raise, I go up, tension, 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 up, zero tension. There's literally zero tension right there. So where do I find my tension? Oh, there it is. So that's where our end point is now going to start. So instead of starting here, you're gonna start here, and that will also be your end point. So you go up and stop right there, because I still have tension on my shoulder at all times, which then makes the exercise a lot harder. You also don't need to use as heavy weights. Shoulders and knees are one of those things, like, if I can make an exercise harder with lighter weights, it's a no-brainer. I want to keep my shoulders as healthy as possible for as long as possible. So this is a technique for also longevity, so that you're not injuring yourself. So you don't need to use heavy weights. Usually that's when people are most likely to hurt themselves. It's not generally picking up like a little 5-pound or a resistance band. You're generally not going to hurt yourself that way. It's when you start doing those heavy weights and you're using other muscles. So this is also a safety thing. So many tips today. So for a partial, if you're doing a dumbbell, we're going to start here, we're going to go to the top and then stop. So it's like about a half rep to 3/4 of a rep. And then you get constant tension the whole time. If I was doing like a resistance band, same thing. The tension starts pretty much right here. So that's the only like bonus of using a resistance band. You can do even a bigger range of motion with a partial, because you get that tension very, very soon. So doing partial reps here, you're gonna burn out really, really fast. And though the burnouts, that's where you're gonna get the pump. And everybody, if you're a bodybuilder and you're lifting weights, you know, already know, the pump is real. That's what we chase. So, and if you want to get that, start adding in some partials. So just pulsing, and your shoulders will be on fire. So if I were to make a set, I would do my first set, or the first part of the set. It's like a superset or a drop set. So I get like my heavier dumbbells, and we'll do full range, maybe like 8 to 10 reps, full range, all the way up, all the way down. And then I would go right into whether you pick a dumbbell or a resistance band, and then go right to your resistance band and just do partials to failure, as many as you can. And this is the burnout. Oh my God, I'm on fire already. And tip number 3 is utilize contraction holds. So basically, anytime you're holding a static, so if you have weights in your hand and you're just holding a static isometric hold, that's time under tension. So, like I said with the previous tip of utilizing partials, utilizing holds increases time under tension, it increases the stress overload, and it also helps to make the exercise harder utilizing lighter weights. Again, safety for our shoulder. If I can make an exercise more intense and make it harder without adding weight, keep our shoulders safe. So what is a contraction hold? It's an isometric hold. So I'm going to utilize, for example, doing a shoulder, like an alternating shoulder press with a contraction. I am going to use the example of a alternating shoulder press with a contraction hold. Now with your hold, you want to make sure that you are actually in the peak contraction. What the heck is that? So dumbbells, there's going to be 2 points where you lose tension: bottom and actually the very top. As soon as you stack weight, as soon as the weight is stacked over your wrist, that's stacked over your elbow, that's stacked over your shoulder, you've now lost tension. So where is the peak tension of a shoulder press? Is actually right here. This is peak. Here, you lose tension. Actually, well, it transfers tension. Here, it transfers tension to our tricep as soon as you straighten out that elbow. So if you want to keep that constant tension, you're just going to keep a slight bend in your elbow and hold it. So an example of utilizing this into a exercise would be the shoulder press. So you're going to start in that up position. You're going to bring your arm slightly down so that all the weight's pretty much on your shoulders. This arm is going to come down. When it gets back up to the top, then this one goes. And anytime you're doing anything unilaterally, meaning one arm at a time, it's gonna call on your abdominals. So keeping your, hello? And we're back. Rob, drunk called me. Anyway, so like I was saying, anytime you are doing something unilaterally, meaning one arm at a time, it's gonna call on your core. So especially if you're leaning back, it's not gonna call on your core as much because you're stabilizing with your back. But if we were more upright and we're doing one arm at a time, you gotta keep your core tight so you're not falling over or bending. So that's the bonus of doing, there's so many tips. I should have said it's 3 to 9 tips. Should have said, watch this video for 3 to about 9 tips. So adding contraction holds. Now you can do this on any exercise, honestly. You can do this with a lateral raise, where one stays up, and when you get to the top, you go back down. Same with front raise. One goes up, boom. All right, let's review, guys. So, tip number 1, and actually all these tips can be used with all muscle groups. So always train your lagging body part first. So on shoulder day, we trained our rear delts first because out of all of them, they're the ones that need the most work. So you throw them at the beginning. Tip number 2 was utilize partial reps for greater stress overload and time under tension. And lastly, tip number 3 is contraction holds. And all 3 of those tips you can use on back day, on chest day, on leg day. You can use all those, but these are just some of my favorites that I add into my shoulder program. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more, if you actually want to see an entire shoulder day utilizing all 3 of those tips, head on over to my site, DanaLynnBailey.com. Link is also below, so you can click the link below and I will give you my full shoulder day. Come with me and let's get big shoulders together. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.